Hey everyone, here is a video that's going to lead you through each of the problems in the Unit 4 study guide. If you are able to work out and understand the problems in this study guide, you should be good to go for the Unit 4 test. So let's start with numbers 1 and 2. We are sketching the graph for each of these functions. We're going to state the vertex. We're going to then do the domain and range. And then on these problems, I'm just asking you to circle where the solutions are going to be. Remember, your solutions are where you cross the x-axis. So let's start out with number 1. You've got y equals 2x squared plus 4x plus 4. So that means that a is 2, b is 4, and c is 4. Okay, to start out, we're going to do the axis of symmetry. That's where we start with all these. So a equals negative b over 2a. You're going to want to know that formula for the test. And so that's going to be negative 4 over 2 times 2, which is negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. So I'm going to put a dashed line at negative 1. That's my axis of symmetry. Okay, that's the line that's going to cut my parabola in half. Now, to find the vertex, I'm going to take this negative 1 and I'm going to plug it in everywhere that I see an x. Okay, so I'm going to use my calculator for that. So we're going to do 2 parentheses negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 plus 4 and hit enter. And I get my answer is 2. So that means that my vertex, V for vertex, is negative 1, comma 2. I'm going to plot that point. So that means we go over negative 1, up 2. I'm going to put a dot right here. Now, I need to do an x and y chart. So, through talking to people in class, I've noticed that if I put my vertex on my XY chart, that's a good place to get everybody started. So I would recommend putting that vertex on there. Now you need 2 numbers bigger than negative 1 and 2 numbers smaller than negative 1. So we could go 0 and 1, and then how about negative 2 and negative 3. You're going to take each one of these numbers and you're going to plug them into your equation wherever you see an x. So this is going to be, if you hit second enter, that'll pop right back up there for you. Second enter, and then you don't have to do all this typing. So we're going to make that be a 0. Get rid of that. Make this be a 0. Okay, and hit enter. So your answer for 0 is 4. Okay, so that's 4. Now, second enter, that pops up again. So this is going to be a 1. And now this is going to be a 1. Enter, and we get 10. So this will be 10. Let's do negative 2. So second, enter, and we're going to put negative 2 in here. I'm going to have to hit second, delete, so we can insert that negative sign. Okay, so 2. Oop, lost my parentheses. Second, delete, helps me get the parentheses back. There we go, that's better. And then we need second, there we go, negative 2, we'll get rid of that, and then hit enter, and we get 4. One more, second, enter, put a negative 3 in there, hit enter, and we get 10. Okay, and this should follow a pattern because that axis of symmetry makes the parabola symmetrical on both sides. Should be the same y values. So when we graph this, 0, 4 is right here and up 4. 1, 10 is going to be over and up 10. We put a dot. And then negative 2, 4 would be over negative 2, up 4. And negative 3, 10 would be over negative 3 and up 10, like that. And then you just kind of connect the dots the best you can, make a nice smooth curve, and there you go. There's your graph. So our vertex was negative 1, 2. I got that done. Your domain is always going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. This is the same as all real numbers. Okay, that means the same thing. Your range is going to be how low you go to how high you go. So how low does this graph go? It goes all the way down to here. So that's going to be 2. How high does it go? Well, it goes up. It's got arrows on the ends. Make sure you have arrows on the ends of yours. So to positive infinity. There's your range. Circle the solutions. Well, the solutions are where the graph crosses the x-axis. This graph never dips down far enough to cross the x-axis. So you're going to say no real solutions. This would be one of those that if you did quadratic formula, you'd have eyes in your answers. So you're actually going to have complex answers as your solutions. Okay, so that's number 1. Let's look at number 2. 2x squared minus 4x plus 6. So A is 2, B equals negative 4, and C equals 6. So we're going to do axis of symmetry. X equals negative B over 2A. So a negative 4 would turn positive all over 2 times 2. Well, that's 4 over 4, which is 1. So your axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 1. Put a dashed line right down through here. Now we're going to take this 1 to help us find our vertex. We're going to take this 1 and we're going to plug it in everywhere that we see an x into the equation. So let's do that. It's going to be 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 6. And hit enter. And we get 4. So our vertex is going to be 1, 4. Okay? So we're going to go over 1 and we're going to go up 4 and we're going to put a dot right there. Now we need our x and y chart, right? So I'm going to put 1, 4 on there just to help me kind of get an idea of what numbers to pick. I need 2 numbers bigger than 1 and I need 2 numbers smaller than 1. So how about we do 2 and 3 and 0 and negative 1. Now we're going to plug those in just like we did in number 1. So second enter pulls my equation right back up. Alright, gotta love that feature. Alright, so this is a 6. And I put a 2 in. Second enter. Put a 3 in. And hit enter. We get 12. Second enter. Go back. Put a 0 in. Put a 0 in. 6. And then one more time. Second enter. Go back. Now the negative sign's a little extra here, so I'm going to go second, delete, and put a negative in there, negative 1. And right here, second delete helps me insert negative 1. And hit enter, and we get 12. And that's not a surprise because we got 12 up here, so we should get the same things. Okay, so now we're going to plot that. So we're going to plot 2, 6 over 2 up 6. 3, 12 over 3 up 12, 0, 6 right there, and negative 1, 12 and over negative 1 up 12. So now you're going to connect the dots, put some arrows on the end, and you're done. So we got the vertex. Domain for all of these is negative infinity to positive infinity. Your range is how low the parabola goes. So the lowest point is right here, that's at 4, to how high it goes. So that's positive infinity. Once again, circle the solutions. Doesn't touch the x-axis. So no real solutions. It's going to have imaginary solutions or complex solutions. Okay, so that's how you do number 2. Let's go on down to 3 and 4. So negative x squared plus 2x plus 2. A equals negative 1, B equals 2, and C equals 2. So we start out by doing the axis of symmetry. Negative b over 2a. So that'll be negative 2 over 2 times negative 1. Alright, well, simplify that, comes out to be 1. Negative 2 over negative 2 is 1. So our axis of symmetry is right there at 1. Now you're going to plug 1 in everywhere that you see an X to help you get your vertex. So it's going to be negative 1, and then plus 2 times 1, plus 2. Hit enter, and we get 3. All right, so our vertex is 1, 3. We're going to plot that over 1, up 3. There's a dot right there. Okay, do our X and Y chart. So 1, 3. So 2 numbers smaller than 2 numbers bigger. So 0, negative 1, 2, and 3. Plug these into your equation. Okay, let's see if I can get this all on the screen at the same time. All right, so second, enter. Let's put 0 in first. And probably we could just do this one in our head, but that's okay. I'll go through the steps. Hit enter, and we get 2. Second, enter. Put a negative 1 in. Notice my negative 1 goes in the parentheses. So that's going to get squared first. Then put a negative inside. And this will be negative 1. That goes. There you go. Negative 1. And then second second enter. Put a 2 in. 2, enter. You get 2. And then if I do 3, put a 3 in. If I am going too fast at any time, oh, I just made a mistake. I can't talk and do this at the same time. If I'm ever going too fast in these videos, please pause them. Pause the video so you can catch up, and then hit play and it'll start up again. Okay, negative 1. There you go. So we're going to plot those points. So 0, 2. 0 up 2. We're right here. Negative 1, oops, sorry, negative 1, negative 1. So over negative 1, down negative 1. And then we're going to plot 2, 2, over 2, up 2. And then 3, negative 1, over 3, down 1. We make it as rounded as you possibly can. And there's your graph. Okay? Okay, so your domain, we got the vertex. Your domain will be negative infinity to positive infinity. Your range is how low to how high. So now this one's upside down. So the lowest point means it's going to be negative infinity all the way up to this high point right here, which is at 3. And then your solutions are where it crosses the x-axis. So right here and right there. I don't know exactly where those spots are, so we're just going to circle them, okay? On the test, it'll be very obvious where they cross the x-axis. Okay, one more, number 4. So A is negative 1, B is negative 4, and C is negative 1. So your axis of symmetry is x equals negative B over 2A. So this will be like a negative 4, which turns into plus plus, all over 2 times negative 1. That's going to be negative 2. Okay, so 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So we go over to negative 2, and we make a nice dashed line. Now we're going to plug negative 2 in everywhere that we see an x. So on our calculator, we're going to have negative parentheses, negative 2 squared minus 4 parentheses, negative 2 minus 1. And we get 3. So our vertex is going to be at negative 2, 3. Put those together. Graph that, go over negative 2 and go up 3 and put a point. Now we're going to do our x and y chart. So negative 2, 3. Pick 2 numbers bigger than negative 2 and pick 2 numbers smaller than negative 2. So how about negative 1 and 0? And how about negative 3 and negative 4? Okay? And we're going to plug those in to the equation wherever we see an x value. Okay? So let's grab the graphing calculator. All right, so second enter brings it right back up for us. We're going to make this be a negative 1, and that'll be a -1. Hit enter, we get 2. Second, enter, brings it right back up again. Put a 0 in, put a 0 in, we get -1. For -3, this will be -3 and -3. Oops, put an extra 0 in there. Don't need that. Okay, there we go. 2, and then -4. 4 right here. 4 right here. All right, enter, and it's -1. So we're going to plot those points. -1, 2 is right here. 0, -1 is down here. -3, 2 right here. And -4, -1. So over -4, down -1. And then make a curve. Try to make it as curved as you can. There we go. Put some arrows on the bottom because this technically goes on forever. And then your vertex, we got. Your domain is -infinity to +infinity. Your range, how low you go to how high you go. So that's going to be -infinity up to 3. And then your solutions are where it crosses the x-axis. So somewhere right here and somewhere right there. So that's 1 through 4 of the study guide. Ask me questions if you need anything. Thanks.